Hey everybody, I just want to talk a little bit about alcoholism when it runs in your family. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday whose husband is a alcoholic, pretty bad, I don't know what you call it, stage 4 alcoholism. I don't know, pretty deep into alcoholism. And I was thinking about, she was telling me about her kids, and her kids have some signs of alcoholism. Not drinking, right? Some other things. And I want to talk about that because I think that's really important to understand. That this thing manifests itself in different ways. If you have the mental illness of alcoholism, it doesn't mean you just drink too much to treat that, right? The other symptoms of that is drugs, right? Drugs and alcohol. Your kids may be showing signs of overeating. Maybe you have some girls. You need to keep your eyes on eating disorders, cutting. The actual mental illness will manifest itself in different ways, and it'll need to be treated one way or another. Shopping, gaming, right? So if you have children in the house and you know alcoholism runs in the family, you want to keep your eyes open for stuff like that. The addictive behavior of the alcoholic. Now again, people get really tripped up with the fact that the word alcoholic has alcohol in it. Now, alcoholic is someone who suffers from alcoholism. Alcoholism is the mental illness, right? The mental illness, I talk about this a lot. The mental illness, it's so apparent to me. I deal with a lot of people with mental illness. Even in the club room I go to, people come in that are homeless. Now I'm going to get on a tirade about homelessness. People that come in that are homeless will come in and sit down, and if they're not really drunk or loaded, they'll sit down and they'll get a cup of coffee and they'll have all their bags with them, and they will set their bags down and they'll start fiddling through their bags. They organize them, they reorganize them, they take everything out of the bags and put them back in the bags, right? That's a form of like an OCD. I see a lot of homeless people with OCD, an obsessive compulsive disorder. And you can see very clearly that they use drugs and alcohol to settle that down, right? A lot of people that are homeless right now are homeless because the government took away mental health care. There was mental health care available for people more readily. And when Reagan was president, Reagan on the federal level, in California it was Arnold Schwarzenegger, he took all those places out. That's non-existent. And people had no way to treat all the things going on in their mind, the different levels and on the different spectrum of mental illness. And so they've had to use drugs and alcohol to make it livable in their head. And that is exactly what alcoholism is. It is a way that we make it livable in our head. Okay? So if your child maybe witnessed you or your husband or an uncle or an aunt or a grandparent drink too much, they might be absolutely sickened by the thought that they could be a drinker and they won't drink at all. But you'll notice that they got food issues. Or your son might start gaming. Your daughter might start gaming. You can see these gamers now are missing school, right? Some of them have carpal tunnel already in their hands, and they keep playing, right? There's a lot of shit going on with these kids in our families, and it's alcoholism, the depression, the anxiety these kids are going from. A lot of it is alcoholism. You put them on Ritalin and all this other shit, and you've got kids addicted to Ritalin. You know what I mean? So it's really important that you know what alcoholism is, and that if it runs in your family. Now remember, it's still like diabetes. You could have diabetes in your family or heart disease and not have heart disease or diabetes. It might skip you, but your sister might have it. Your kids might get it, right? It runs in the family. I know this to be true. You've heard my story about my birth family, right? So nobody in my adopted family was an alcoholic. My mother and father didn't drink. My brother's not an alcoholic that I was raised with. I was the only one. And I'll tell you, there was no alcohol in our house growing up. When I was older, my stepfather had some beer in the fridge, and I'll tell you what, I got into it. He never drank it. And it was Schlitz, malt liquor beer, and it was in the basement fridge. And I would open it up, and I'd take it in the shower with me, and they'd say, "What are you doing with that beer?" I'd say, "Well, I'm rinsing my hair with it. I saw in Teen Magazine, rinsing your hair with beer is very good for your hair." Oh my God. And I remember when I was real little, I think I must have been 6. I got real sick, and my mom gave me NyQuil. We had a hall closet, and she had all the medicine in the hall closet on this one shelf. It was the Band-Aids, the Pepto-Bismol, everything we had was in that closet on that shelf. And she gave me some NyQuil. And about a week later, she yelled out to me, "Cookie," and she held up an empty bottle of NyQuil. And she said, "Did you drink this?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I took some every night. Yeah, it helped me sleep." Those were signs, right? Those were signs. No one else in my family was doing stuff like that, and there was emotional signs too. So if you have people in your family and you have kids, you need to talk about this. You need to get educated about it. You need to know what the other warning signs are: sugar, food, shopping, cutting, eating disorders, overeating, undereating, bulimia, rage, a lot of stuff, gambling. People need to be aware of what's going on. Now, if you have a child who's got a problem, that's a whole different issue, because until things get really bad, until there's consequences, you can't get someone to quit. So you pretty much have to put some consequences in place for people in your home. You're not going to get someone who's under 21 to quit drinking and go to AA and be happy about it. You're not. But you can help them. You can help the rest of your family by at least putting in the rules in your house. Even if it's, if you see there's a problem with gaming already, you got to have a contract. There's only this many. You can game between this hour, and that's it. We're turning off the Wi-Fi. We're not going to have Wi-Fi. Whatever that is, you got to figure out how to do that with your kids. There's no drugs and alcohol in the house. There's just going to be consequences they're going to have to face before they want to get sober. But you just want to be aware of it manifesting itself in different ways. And I think letting people know what this illness is about is the best way to do it, is let kids know what's going on. Because like I said, a lot of people I have a lot of friends that have parents that drink way too much, and they know that they have alcoholism. If they started drinking, it'd be over. So they're real careful. And they're real careful about everything, because they know, I gotta be careful, right? Anyway, I hope that's helpful to you. If you have any more questions about that, or you want to talk further, please contact me. I'd be happy to help. Thanks. Bye.